I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. Yesterday I saw Lion George. He was in the House chamber yesterday, had on a blue sweater, a white shirt, and a jacket, and he was kind of sitting there by himself. He walked in with a knapsack on his back as if he was going to school or something. And nobody spoke to him. He's sitting there all alone by himself. Oh, Lion George. Lawrence O'Donnell last night stated that Lion George sent out a tweet yesterday that he had been, if you will, going ahead and sworn in. And nobody was sworn in yesterday. It got Mr. Engineer, roll the clip of Lawrence O'Donnell from last night.
Republican Congressman-elect George Santos made history today as the first Congressman-elect ever to be asked these questions before he was even sworn in. Do you plan to resign? And what is your legal name?
Sir, do you plan to resign?
When was the last time you spoke with GOP leadership? What is your legal name?
That was this morning before George Santos spent the day sitting alone on the House floor, being actively avoided by every one of the 500 or so people, including children, on the House floor today. George Santos has also made history by being the only member of Congress to ever be the subject of criminal investigations by his local district attorney, his state attorney general, by federal investigators. But that's not all. There are some members of the House of Representatives in the past who have been investigated by local, state, and federal criminal investigators at the same time. But George Santos is the first ever to be investigated by local, state, federal investigators, along with criminal prosecutors in Brazil. Our next guest, Grace Ashford, reports in the New York Times, Brazilian law enforcement authorities intend to revive fraud charges against Mr. Santos and will seek his formal response, prosecutors said on Monday. A spokeswoman for the Rio de Janeiro prosecutor's office said that with Mr. Santos's whereabouts identified, a formal request will be made to the U.S. Justice Department to notify him of the charges, a necessary step after which the case will proceed with or without him. And so tonight, George Santos is in a race against time to see whether he will be sworn in as a member of the House of Representatives before he is officially charged with a crime. Members of the House of Representatives are not sworn in until a speaker is elected. Joining us now by phone is Grace Ashford, reporter for the New York Times. Grace, thank you very much for joining us. You reported on the new Brazilian criminal investigation that is an extension of an investigation that began years ago.
This is New York Times. I don't want to hear from her. The idea here is that what I'm trying to find out is why is it that this Lion George was able to get this far? At 19 years, he was 19 years old. He's down there in Brazil somewhere, and his mother was working for somebody. He stole the person's checkbook or something of that nature, wrote some phony checks, and now they want to press charges against him from down there in Brazil, whether he comes out, he extradited down there or not. So how did he manage to get this far? Something about this something's going on. And this is a Republican too, by the way. Something about this story that we haven't heard yet. By that I mean, did not somebody know this Lion George? Didn't somebody, did he have a girlfriend? Did he have a boyfriend? Didn't somebody know Lion George? Parenthetically, I was amazed that when Obama ran for president, and yeah, I'm talking about the long-legged, half-breed, half-baked Obama. Yeah, I'm talking about it. What you got to say about it? When he ran for president, not one woman came up and accused him of anything. Hell, listen, Joe Biden, my time Biden, some woman said he grabbed her in the hallway, put his knee between her legs and his hand up her skirt. Said that about Joe Biden. Joe Biden tried to jack her in the hallway. No woman ever all the world. Not one woman came out and said Obama ever, winked at her. That's a doggone. Anyway, didn't somebody know about this guy, Lion George? And where did he get all this money from? And how's he been living? They know that what about the landlords? I think he got kicked out or evicted from several places he was living. And has he had anybody recommended medical treatment? I think what's going to ultimately happen to this guy is that they think he's going to survive his 2 years. I think what's going to happen ultimately is that he's going to be, recommended for psychiatric treatment. That's what I think. Because not only did he say he's Jewish, he said it was half black too. That's something's wrong. I don't know what is going on. But the people that know, he must have met people how old is he, 30 years, 35, 40 years? How old is he? Who knows him? And the other thing, he never went to college. What high school did he graduate from, by the way? I mean, something about this stinks to high heaven, and I think we need to get to the bottom of it. I don't need to get to the bottom of it. I'm not going to say I could care less. I'm reporting here. I'm trying to give you some insight about what's going on in our world today. So therefore, I want to cover this event about him. But the boy just lies. And he didn't just start lying about this. He ran for Congress against Tom Suozzi out in Long Island. What was it, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. He lost. Only had like $400 or $40 in his campaign account. Tom Suozzi beat the living daylights out of him. They're supposed to have an investigative committee do, if you will, opposition research is what they call it. And then the Republican Party is supposed to vet you as well. I mean, they let you just walk up here and walk into Congress. Now, most people know politicians are given to lie and so forth. So it probably is no big thing. Obama lied a bigger lie than this guy did. Obama said he was born in America. That's a lie bigger than George Santos. It's a bigger lie. Yeah, I said it. Sure I did. And by the way, what did Obama do for you? What on earth did he do for you other than to just give you ignorant pride? We got a black president. His mama was white. We got a black president. Ignorant pride. And by the way, are you living better now? Are you really living better? Is life better for you now? Is it? The answer is a big hell no. Yet, there's such this is runaway racism. Long after they discovered it, Charlemagne the God pointed out, Obama didn't do nothing for black people. He black. He had a black president. You ain't got nothing from it. So yeah, I'm talking about him. Now let's go back to this guy, George Santos. Somebody knows something about this boy. And I think that he may have had some people. I want to know where he got that money from. Did he write a bad check? I mean, who did he steal? Who? $700,000 he spent. $40,000 he spent, I think, on air flights, $30,000 on hotels, $14,000 on car rentals or, car service. And flying all out there in California, running around as a local politician, first-time politician, spending all that kind of money. Somebody knows something and they ain't telling it. Somebody knows. And I don't know what the name of the person he ran against and defeated him. But I'm going to stay on top of this story of old Lying George because there's something going on here. And it's happening right here in New York, by the way. The Nassau County is, it's on Long Island, away from the city of New York, but it's not that far.